So I have decided that I'm gonna actually put all the trailers onto this channel. That way it might get more views on terms of subscriber base and stuff like that. But then I'm also gonna do game trailers on the other channel, and then I'll link my other channel in the description below. Um, so this review actually is for an old show of all like this was actually my first primetime show, probably most likely when I was a kid. My mom used to watch it when I was younger, and this has got what got me into like PLL and all these different shows. So I'm gonna do it, but it's an old show, so just stay tuned. I hate this show. I'm looking back and I'm like, why the hell did I even have an opinion? Or why did I even why do you even watch this? Like what was my initial like like the writing in this show is so bad. Like like in terms of the story, it's a great story, but I felt like I was being educated in sex literally the whole entire show. Like, and and literally probably 50% of one character that talks in the show is statistics on sex, and it's ridiculous. And this will be my um re review for the first episode of Secret Life of a Married Teenager. Let me just get the. I have to get the crap out. It's a great show. Like I loved it, um, but like there were so many times where I'm like, this is so bad writing. The only good thing that came out of this was the actor who played Amy. She was the only one that I feel like she made it, but other people did, but it was like they were like in background like movies, and she was the only one that got like awards out of this show because of how good she played. But like it was like everyone else, it was like I felt like half of the fucking script was literally made to educate teens not to have sex. And I know it's trying to do that, but I think you could do that without actually telling us. You could do that like in the background, like because they used to have these like little um questions like at the end of every episode, and it would be like it would be like a helpline to call people and tell for so that they can get and ask the questions and stuff like that. And I don't know why they just use that as the way to tell people what instead of like cuz like PLL when you watch that there is no indication of you being educated in that show. Like I can tell throughout that show that it was like, oh, okay, they're gonna take a subject on this type of thing right now, like PTSD or something. I got that out of the show, but they did not educate you and make you think, oh, okay, this is bad. I just, oh my god, I'm just doing a rant at this point, but we'll recap the show in a second. I just wanted the main focus to be like at the beginning. Yes, it's a good show if you want to know about the story, but like I feel like the story is literally 50% of the show. Like 50% of the dialogue is something else, and it's ridiculous. It's like every single line in the show has to have the word sex in it, and I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous. Like when I was watching other shows on ABC Family, they never educate you. Now they post they they gave you questions at the end. Like they would have one character from the show teach you about it and ask you to talk to your parents if you have questions. But they didn't do that with this show. It made me feel so uncomfortable watching it because now I know what is a good show and what is lazy writing. And this show had super lazy writing. And there was a lot of good parts in this show, but it would have been better if it was not trying to educate you at the same time. And they did touch a lot of topics throughout the 5 seasons. But oh my god, it was so bad. And I feel like they got better as the seasons went on, but no, it just got worse and worse. So we'll start. I'm gonna basically say to this, yes, my reviews are gonna be based on the story. It's not gonna be based on what I just ranted about. So yes, I'm gonna rate it from what I think, but I'm also gonna rate it with a little bit of the dialogue problem. So there's some episodes that do that a lot, and then there's some episodes that don't. So I don't know. It's only one character that apparently doesn't have that much dialogue like that. So the series starts out with Amy Jurgens coming home from band camp, and her mom says that you only are young once. You should be having a little fun. She was in the bathroom, testing for a pregnancy. Bleh. I can't speak today. And then that's when the following morning, everyone is walking around and getting near their lockers and stuff like that, and they play a song that nowadays I actually listen to the artists. Madison and Lauren walk down the stairs and they walk up to Amy. They start talking about the new guidance counselor, and then that's when Amy tells her friend that she had sex. Ricky talks to Adrian at the locker. They plan to go out on their third date that night. Grace walks up and oh my god, I hate Grace for the whole first season. Whole first season, I hate Grace. It just annoyed me how much she tried to be Christian. Like, I know a lot of people are trying to be Christian, but it's annoying, like, to the full extent. Like I'm Christian, but I don't know. It's just, she can get annoying in the first season if you ever watched it. But she tells them about a party the youth fellowship hall will have after the game, or the homecoming game or something like that. And then Adrian walks by Mark Molina, the new counselor, and talks to them briefly before he enters his office. Meanwhile, Ben is talking to Henry and Allison and comments on how he hates Ricky, saying that he hits on every girl he meets. Ben refers to Grace Bowman as a goddess, and that Allison mentions that it will never have sex with her, and that's when he pointed Amy out, saying that he suggested Ben to go out with Amy, and that's how it all started. I hated the relationship problems with Amy and Ben. Like, I loved them together, but at the same time, it got so dark. Like, how much, like, he tried to go after her, like, after the third season. But we'll talk about that later. Ben comments that he starts somewhere, asking Alice where to start. Oh, I already read that, but Amy talks with her friends about the night at band camp. Madison and Lauren continue to ask about the night, but Amy says it's nothing. Madison and Lauren realize that Amy is pregnant. The bell rings and that she ignores Ben, attempted to ask her out. Amy proceeds down the hallway and walks near Grace, who is attempting to convince Ricky to go to the church after the game. As Amy proceeds to class, Ricky stops in the hallway and reminds her of the night at band camp. The screen zooms out to Amy and fades. Later that day, Amy and her friends are in the bathroom where they are making absolutely sure that Amy is pregnant. They leave Amy alone and cross their fingers in hopes. Meanwhile, at the lunch time, Jack proceeds to the table Grace is sitting down at and sits down. He knows the ring on her finger and asks about it. Grace says it's her parents gave it to her after promise that she wouldn't have sex until married. He is clearly stretched out, not going unnoticed by Grace, who tried to persuade him to wait until marriage. After Grace leaves, Adrian comes over and flirts with Jack. Back in the bathroom, all three pregnancy tests. Amy took him back. All three pregnancy tests Amy took came back positive. I don't know why I was trying to wait that out, which basically confirmed Amy was pregnant. Laurel, I'm thinking Laurel from freaking Arrow. Rin convinced Amy to go to a doctor. The scene, the scene cuts to Amy at the doctor waiting to get examined. After she walks back to the examination room, the scene cuts to her and her family having dinner. Her younger sister Ashley got in trouble for wearing inappropriate clothes to school and is getting lectured by her parents. The father accuses her of trying to be sexy and says neither of their daughters are ready to have sex. Amy looks pale throughout dinner, which probably says that the doctor confirmed her pregnancy. Amy's mother notices and asks her if she was feeling okay, and Amy said if she was tired. After dinner, Amy and Ashley, oh my god, Ashley cleared the table and Amy told her parents she needs to talk to them in private right before she tells them about the pregnancy. Ben calls and asks to the football dance, which she accepts. She doesn't tell her parents about the situation. At the football dance, Grace and Ricky share a slow dance together while Tom goes outside to see if their parents are there. While Tom is outside, he sees Jack and Adrian are making out and calls Grace and gets her attention about immediately. The whole school except for Ben and Amy go outside and see Jack and Adrian. So my initial thoughts are I am gonna rate this with the bad acting and the minus side. So I'm gonna say the premiere is really bad, but I'm not gonna say push that on every single episode, because as the show gets better, it does get better. But it's just that watching the pilot episode and realizing how bad the acting was, and not the acting in the script was, and how I felt like I was being educated most of the time. And I don't know why I had an interest in the show at all. Literally, I don't. I think it was just because there was a couple of people in it that I liked. And my mom recommended it when she was watching it one time. So I started watching it, catched up, and it was getting good. It was getting good when you got into where she was at, so I started watching it. But watching this episode, clearly now I understand why I hated this show. And And it's the same thing with the ending. The ending is even worse. I'm not gonna speak of it, but you probably all know what the ending is if I'm talking about it now. So I'm gonna go into depth and I'm gonna say, yet plus side is the story. I love the story. The story is great. Concept is awesome. Um, Shannon Woodley did a great role in this role. Um, I wonder why she didn't. She didn't win awards for it. I believe she did. And then and then but the acting for everyone else was just atrocious. And on top of it, like I was okay with Ricky a little bit, but everyone else I couldn't stand. And then um and then the writing was just, please, why did they have to make it feel like I was educated? I probably said that so many times, so you probably have clicked off of this by now. But yes, it does. And other ABC Family shows never done it, like Switch at Birth, um, Foster's, which I will eventually do. I probably would do Switch at Birth too. Um, and PLL, they all didn't do it. They all were very right about it, and they just had it, and then like they did what normal teenagers, like, well, not normal teenagers, I'm trying to think, but most teenagers do. They they think they do, just to show. um but yeah, they did do that in those shows, but they didn't like talk about it in every scene. They just went on with the story, and I liked it when they did that. But this show doesn't do that at all, not once. So I would give this a 6.8. I feel like that's my lowest, or 6.8 or 6.7. I'm not gonna give it a 5 because um the plus side was the story and the concept was new back then, kind of. Degrassi was way much better, but but that was only because Degrassi didn't do what this show did. Feel like they were just trying to show, because it was a big thing back then. A big thing was a lot of kids were having unprotected sex and then getting pregnant. So they capitalized on that and basically made a show about it around the 2010s. I don't know if it's as a lower percentage now as back then, but it was a big thing back then. So please like, comment, subscribe. Wow, this one turned out to 18 minutes. I think it's just because of the 5-minute rant I went on. So, and see ya.